Ladies and gentlemen, boy, what a horrific day for Florida. I was looking at quite a few of the pictures and footage that was coming out of there. Man, they got a long cleanup to do down there. That thing really slammed into Florida. Floods are everywhere, power outages, down trees. It is a mess. I saw buildings with the roof ripped off, and it is really truly cleanup time down in Florida. It will be for months to come. So it is now a tropical storm and moving into the Carolinas. So it made landfall. Now, I know before I went to sleep last night, it had jumped up to a category 4, Idalia. And when I woke up this morning, it was a category 3. And around 8 o'clock in the morning, it made landfall in Florida. So it made landfall in the Big Bend area near Keaton Beach just before 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and it had winds of 125 miles per hour. And it didn't take long for the storm to flood the streets. The airports were closed, flights canceled, and it caused widespread power outages down there. So, Adelia is now a tropical storm and it's in the Carolina area. Now, I know we got rain earlier from it, just little remnants of it. You know how it travels up the coast, and we had rain and it was coming directly from the hurricane. It just goes to show you how far it reached up the coast. So we didn't get a direct hit, but we did get remnants from it. Storm surge warnings are still in effect. Uh, and the hurricane, they said, is officially out of Florida. Georgia also took a hit. And wow, I sure hope that my subscribers that live in those areas, I hope you're okay. And I see Jacksonville also took a hit from this. And, I really think about that area because I got family in Georgia and Florida. Those are areas where probably the majority of my family are located. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see in the picture the flooding is something else. I was looking at some of the pictures. The water is all the way up to people's waists. And just looking at all the homes that are flooded and down trees. I was just looking at all of that. It is crazy down there for real. I'm going to go ahead and show you this footage from NBC, and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
Talking about that catastrophic storm surge, up to 9 feet of it, and those powerful winds hitting Florida. Our Gabe Gutierrez was on the ground for the moment of impact and reporting live as it roared ashore.
Lester, this is where Idalia officially made landfall. A lot of the structures here are vacation homes, and many people had evacuated inland. But these winds were among the most powerful that this part of Florida's coast had ever seen. This was Idalia roaring on shore, the violent water mixing with howling winds just before dawn, as the hurricane officially made landfall in Keaton Beach, its eye wall brushing past Perry, 20 miles inland.
This is the power of Hurricane Idalia, and we're right in the thick of it. The winds here have really picked up in the last hour or so.
After sunrise, the damage becoming clearer. Remarkably, the storm surge wasn't as brutal as expected here, but the wind was. Idalia is the strongest hurricane to make landfall on the Big Bend in 127 years, tying the unnamed hurricane of 1896 and 125-mile-per-hour winds. You can see right now how many first responders are lining up here. The National Guard is on the move. Richard and Deanna Carr returning to Keaton Beach late today. How terrifying was it to feel those winds this morning?
It was pretty bad.
All right, this is an aerial shot of Steinhatchee, Florida. And yeah, you can see the whole area down there is flooded. And I tell you, these hurricanes are no joke. So they did report some fatalities, but they said it's really too soon to report any real numbers at this time. And Gainesville, I do know a couple of people that lives in Gainesville, Florida, and they said this is probably the worst they have ever seen in the last 20 years. And people ran out, of course, and got the essential food and water, and hopefully, you know, they didn't, if they lost power, I hope the power comes back. I know my uncle who lives down there he always say they're the first to go out and the last to come back on. Sometimes he's been without power for 2, 3 weeks after a hurricane hit. I sure hope that's not the case for him this time around. Mm-mm-mm. They said the tides down in Charleston, South Carolina was a little over 9 feet. This is according to the National Weather Service, and they measured it at 9.03 around 8 p.m. The Weather Service in Charleston said the flooding was occurring in downtown Charleston and had breached the battery, according to the agency. Some streets in downtown Charleston did flood very quickly, they said. Some of them were flooded before 8 p.m. Around Lockwood Drive and Broad Street, the police blocked off the roads where water rose high enough to cover the street and swept over the sidewalks, creeping towards large homes and apartments. The police got out of their SUV and picked up a road barricade that was beginning to float away. Wow. So a few cars were still on the road, all the roads were flooded. And yeah, that's pretty dangerous. If you don't have to be out there, you really shouldn't be out there at all. I mean, that's one thing. It is no joke. So, right now in Charleston, they said the winds are at 60 miles an hour. And the National Hurricane Center said in an update that it had maximum sustained winds when it came into Charleston at 65 miles per hour. So, yeah, it's a lot. It weakened because, usually they weaken over land anyway. They always do. So, mm, mm, mm. Be safe, everybody. If you're in the Carolinas, Georgia, or Florida, let me know if you're okay. Let me know if you're not okay. And let me know in the comment section if your area was spared or you took a direct hit. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.